You're the woman from the newspaper, I presume.
Yes, Cynthia Fletcher. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Can I get you anything? Some tea, perhaps?
Sure, I'd love some tea. Thank you very much.
That'll take a little while to warm up. Why don't we get started?
I'll tell you what, Mr. Zecco. All of us at the paper were awfully excited to hear from you. This story really has taken on quite a life of its own.
It really is. It really is quite unbelievable. But I wanted to get the facts straight so that there would at least be a seed of truth in the tales that the kids are expectorating all over the internet.
Well, it'll be great to hear the story from someone who has their facts straight.
I don't know if I truly understand the facts myself.
Well, why don't you start by telling us how you first met Mr. Valdemar?
Mr. Valdemar and I had been acquaintances for some time before I ever thought of using him as a test subject. For the past several years, I had been studying the subject of mesmerism.
Mesmerism?
It's the idea that one can render another's mind subservient to his own, or at least render them prone to suggestion at a subconscious level.
Like hypnotism?
In a sense.
An experiment. Christian, I'm an old man, and with my lungs failing, I don't know how much time I've got left. What do you want with me?
If I can speak candidly, those are the exact qualities why I sought you out.
Explain.
Have you ever heard of mesmerism, Mr. Valdemar?
What is it? Some kind of a new drug?
No. It's the attempt of one person to forcibly enter the subconscious of another. That is, to place them in a trance, as it were.
You want to hypnotize me?
Not exactly. In all my research, I've never found an example of someone attempting to induce a mesmeric trance into a subject entering articulo mortis. That is, the moment of death. I have reason to believe that a strong mesmeric trance will have the power to suspend death.
You're a fucking lunatic!
It's simply a hypothesis.
What's in this for me?
If I succeed, your face will be on the cover of every newspaper in America.
Oh, yeah? That's a bold claim.
I give you my word, but first, I must have yours.
Listen, if I'm going to die, the last thing I want to hear is your crazy bullshit.
I take it he changed his mind.
Yes.
To tell you the truth, I don't think Mr. Valdemar was regarded as popular among the people around him. I suspect he took comfort in the idea that someone would be at the deathbed. And perhaps he was infatuated by the idea that his life would be given an added meaning from the experiment.
So he kept his promise. He
Yes.
called you to his deathbed.
You must be Dr. Thomas. Christian Zecco. We talked many times on the phone.
Yes, Lorenzo Thomas. Look, I'm just going to say this outright, that I don't approve of this crazy experiment of yours. I'm only going along with it because Mr. Valdemar insists.
Well, perhaps by the end of the night I can change your mind.
I doubt it. Now, Mr. Valdemar's condition is bad, and it's getting worse by the second. He's got one lung that's completely ossified, and the other is following suit at an alarming pace.
Well, take me to him. I have to start immediately.
He's been lying here all day.
Mr. Valdemar, how are you feeling? Should I begin now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Valdemar, follow my hands. Signa. Abuis. Sone Konda. No, Doctor. Our friend Mr. Valdemar is still very much alive. He's just sleeping. Tell him, Mr. Valdemar.
Yes. Asleep now.
And do you feel any pain?
No pain now. Dying.
Well, he's alive. For now. What do we do next?
We wait. Ah! There's the tea.
That's quite a story you just told, Mr. Zecco.
Well, that's just the beginning of it. It's far from over. I haven't told you the most unbelievable part of it yet.
Well, what happened next?
Well, it took several hours before there was any noticeable change in Mr. Valdemar.
Breathing has stopped. No pulse. He's legally dead. Official time of death, 3:02 a.m., March 19th.
Mr. Valdemar, do you still sleep?
No. I have been sleeping. Now I am dead.
He remained in that state for days and even weeks, somewhere between life and death, in an unnatural suspension of being. After 2 or 3 weeks, the doctor and I began to discuss the possibility of awakening him. Then, on April 9th,
Mr. Valdemar. Mr. Valdemar, can you explain to us what your wishes, what your desires are at this moment?
Please. Let me go.
I'm going to attempt to release you from your mesmeric trance.
For God's sake.
Mr. Valdemar.
I tell you now, I am dead.
Como quien te sabe.
Dead.
Ograntium. Siaba.
Dead.
Grata. Mignora. Grata. Mignora ticne.
Dead.
Hermano. Sortium Sava.
Dead.
Realte. Omnipos. Regentos.
there, right before our eyes, The body of Mr. Valdemar decomposed. We watched as his body shriveled up and decayed. The stench in the room was almost unbearable. It was as though his body had been in the grave for weeks. But it all happened in one moment.
Just poof, and the body decomposed.
Yes. In one brief moment of time.
I think we're done here. I have all I need. I'll tell you what, Mr. Zecco. You really had me until that last part.
I feel devastated enough in the wake of my failure without people like you insinuating that I'm crazy, Miss Fletcher.
Failure? But if the story really goes how you say it does, then you succeeded. You suspended his death.
He's dead, isn't he?
Yes, of course, but...
Then I have failed.